the 5D mystics, we don't forget about being a lovely human baby. And so when we connect to Christ consciousness, it's, for me, thanks to being introduced to Jesus and spirituality being beyond the solo self, I got lucky. I got determined with a differentiated self at my 3 years of age and secure attachment and a lovely twin. So humans are my friends. And there is why I did not forget about my human body. And that's because 5D mystics, we remember our inner child. So either you reparent yourself and get out of trauma charges and you're not on Elsa's journey, or you are not lost ever, as human and humanity and spiritual and spirituality, one and the same. Thank you, Sadhguru, for existing. At least our lovely guru out there right now actively sharing, if you overflow with humanity, then divinity descends, and no technology and sciences is not taken away. Okay, so let's look at this. 5D mystics, it's for you all. But if you're not a mystic, it's okay to call us woo-woo, because I'm a scientist person. I'm not a flat earther. So I know that, in fact, the relational field, the sphere of consciousness, Akash, grace, and for some, they will still use the word source and God. And I love my introduction to the essence of love and life, to the essence of dark matter and dark energy, because see, that's the whole point. I'm also pseudoscience lady because I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements together, their subject matters. So what happens when you're an inner child, your entire life is nobody's on a pedestal. Nope. No human being, doesn't matter how many degrees you may fly in my face, I got my own, but if you have degrees or not, I need some more light, basically, I'm not going to be like, wow, you know everything. I'm going to be like, well, you know some things, and because I'm going to look at you like that when people have emotional triggers because they're an adaptive child, yeah, well, I learned attachment trauma form, so now I know how to accept the low self-esteem and dark communicators, passive-aggressive. They don't know healthy boundaries because they cancel, block, unfriend, and do all things that, oh, by the way, the solo polyamory community, totally, if you're a securely attached person, you're going to be like, wow, look at how many great relationships I've had and how many lovely lovers I continue to share that time with. Infinite is what love is. Time, only 24 hours. So mentally, emotionally, and physically mature, emotionally available, in my case, men, are those that we get to share time together, and they're so open-minded because, let's go to this. They have what is called integration of the brain capacity, so the ability to be emotionally aware, accountable, and self-regulators, so they don't project. And if they do, they eventually take ownership or not. No, it's always of a conversation. Functional adults, so nobody deflects. Self-empowered women, I'm also that voice. The actual self-empowered woman doesn't turn into the squirrel from Cusco. So we don't make it into like this thing, the shadow self and the not shadow part of you. When I see women yelling on screen and they're calling the name of God and they're saying, I'm the anointed one and we're against Jezebels and all these words that I'm like, what are you talking about? So yeah, magic works through every human being because we're all a embodied brain. Okay, but some people, they unfortunately do what is called structural dissociation on screen, and some even have alters, and they don't do therapy because they choose that they don't want to do the emotional lifting and then the chit chatter. So they don't understand how the bilateral integration works, and also they get carried away with the stars. They think that they're anointed because of clairs. Okay, so 4D gets lost on Elsa's journey and 5D mystics don't. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about soul time, and then we're going to continue our conversation. And we're going to talk about a little bit the oversoul and twin flames, no saga or drama for a very specific reason, because 5D mystics own their brain. And so we don't get into trauma bonding or limerence and or basically what is the avoidant and the ambivalent dynamic. So between relationship coaches, the breakup ones, twin flame coaches, all of those relationship people that are out there for the Elsa journey, because the Elsa journey ones are like, yep, I'm special because I'm part of the twin flame community. While twin flame and flames, it's an actual bond. Again, it's not magical wand. When you're 5D mystic, you have a relationship with the sphere. And it is grace, and it is restorative embodiment. So you don't get displaced and think, oh, I'm special in some unique way that is different than other people. Well, one, we're all special. Again, I'm a twin, so I know I have another we're not the same. We're different. I'm not defective. No shame button. See? So the inner child acts goofy all the time, not just sometimes. Okay, so soul time, the frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibility of a new reality to emerge. One that embraces the concept that while the corporeal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. We do not get confused, those of us who are 5D mystics, when we're having downloads, because we know that we're not to compare ourselves to other people that already existed. It's quite egoic, not to say the least, but also it just feels wrong and out of place, and also again egoic. So the blamers, martyrs, victims, superiors, in fact, those are codependent type people who have not gotten the 0-1-year-old attached, panicky, 3 to 7 shame, submissive, freeze of all ages, flight 11, 12, or fight 14, 15, 16. Did I mention I'm attachment trauma informed? Those charges are the child parts. They don't witness and then say, oh, look, I have a 3-year-old. And then they don't do, let me see, can I work on my mood instead of throwing it out? Should I go to therapy? Not, like, let me double check. Am I going to really go out there and say I know everything? And, all these kinds of beautiful things. So in the meantime, they're like, how dare she? But I do know that there's other soul age groups that I mentioned. I'm in the Enlightenment Soul Age group. There's not laundry here because I got an emotional window welcome because, humans, again, thank you, Jesus. I heard Jesus the first time about the human suffering thing. And that's why at a certain point I said, hey, God, there's no demon or devil in the way that I've been told it. I mean, maybe there is the whole story, and I know it's a story at this point. I know they keep on wanting to tell me you wrote the book because the person, I'm not stupid. Yeah, I'm not a child that is believing in somebody's magical wand, and I have a relationship with you. Christ consciousness is about unconditional love, like Pacha. It's a restorative embodiment, our mammalian heritage. It's integration of brain. Thank you, Daniel Siegel, because see, integration of brain, I know all about it. My child never got lost. This is why. I'm gooey, ooey, ooey. Conception. Oh, to be in your prefrontal cortex, curious, open, accepting, loving. So even if somebody comes with the attachment, envy, or jealousy, resentment, a lot of things have taken place throughout the years of life between women and men, you name it. The solo poly, though, tells you, I learned, wow, I love you even more than I've ever loved before. So yeah, what I did as a teenager, thank you, Jesus, was forgive. As I was told, I believed without seeing, because again, I'm like, I know you're a human, you got a heart, like Pacha tells Cusco. And so when you're doing that, I know you know what you're doing. But then again, I noticed that you don't know why you're unkind. And thank you, Patrick Tiahan, childhood trauma survivor, healed and healing, for sharing his biggest regret from his childhood, which was traumatic. And therefore, he had trauma, and he's healed. And I always say healing in a good therapist who helps people not to project their trauma, which is something along the lines of, I walk into a supermarket and the lady looks at me. For all I know, she doesn't. But I go to my friend and say, look at that bitch. She looked at me. You know what? That dude over there, I bet you he's flirting with that. I'm going to go and tell him to. And women think that that's empowerment, which is not. Okay, conception. Before we run out of time. The frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins, which is the Big Bang. And it doesn't have to have a story, but the duality plane does exist. It's very interesting. I love when I'm in the infinite space, and my oversoul, twin flames, amazing soulmates, you name it. The past life regressions, oh my gosh. So Akashic record readings, when you're doing stuff with it, it's great. And when it's your own stuff, it's also great. So please, 5D mystics, come have fun versus the spiritual warfare BS that the conspiracy theory 4D people are all over, the mystics over there. Okay, and come in, let's grow up together and have fun. Not like the Peter Pans and Lost Boys or the Pinocchios with the ears though, okay? So it helps us, conception, to remember the infinite potential and possibilities. Yes, infinite higher human conscious potential experience is what you're seeing. Inner growth mindset, it is all about the mind, because what comes up gets translated. So you shut this and you say, wait a minute, do I need therapy? Do I need to expand my window of tolerance, or do I have a window welcome? Am I emotionally accountable, aware, and wanting to self-reflect with objectivity and say, I want to do personal development? Or am I going to say, no, that's a bitch over there. I don't want to do anything. Human suffering love is a narrative that others choose. We don't. What we can manifest, and through our own focused awareness and intention. That's when you get back to the origin of you. So when you are always present, you know how to speak the truth, which is we're all beautiful sunshine, rainbow, and stars, and one big cloth. And we believe in each other as human beings who can create alchemy and emergence. Don't forget, here on earth, emergence is approach of our reality with childlike attitude, innocence, and wonderment. That's a healed inner child. So a whole 3-year-old heart, the solo polyamory community. Come on over for secure attachment is really nice, and functional adult love language. So we share because we have compersion. The ones who still need to work on envy and jealousy, they got a good therapist, or they don't want to, join the 5D relationships group, but more to be continued.